So a couple months ago, you put out a voter's guide to help Oklahoma voters understand the state questions, what they're voting on, what the impacts will be. About a week ago, you wrote that Oklahoma voters, as they weigh those 7 state questions, they need to ask of each measure, how will this shift power from one branch of government to another? Tell us exactly what that means.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about judges and judicial confirmations at the federal level are very, have been a flashpoint over the last couple of years, couple of decades. And it's interesting, this year in the 7 state questions, voters really have a chance to weigh in on exactly that kind of a question. How much power should judges have? How much power should the legislature have? And a couple of the measures just go directly to this. State question 776 is about the death penalty, and it's about the legislature telling judges, we want to limit the power that judges have when it comes to the death penalty in Oklahoma. There's always going to be some power, but the legislature gets to determine how executions are carried out. If a method of execution is struck down, the legislature still gets to make decisions about the other methods. State question 790 is about taking out a part of the Oklahoma state question, which would take away power from judges again. This is the part of the Constitution that judges use, that the state Supreme Court used to order the removal of the 10 Commandments from the state capitol. This would, voters really could overturn that decision by taking this out of the state constitution. On the other hand, you have state question 777, which is about shifting power from the legislature to judges, because it creates this very high standard for agricultural regulation. But who will read that standard? Who will make those judgments? Judges will do that, right? So people don't usually talk about it that way, but it shifts power from the legislature to judges. Also 779. It's a little more complicated in this case, but the sales tax hike for education is really trying to limit the power of the legislature to budget for education. It shifts some power to the state executive branch, and ultimately, if the legislature and the executive branch disagree, then judges would figure that out.